So I watched a few of the games yesterday, and they were pretty good. I wanted to talk about them. Yeah. So first, I wanted to talk about the games yesterday. The three main games which I paid attention to was Golden State, Brooklyn, Miami, Chicago, and OKC versus Denver. You know. Also, I watched a bit of the Dallas Mavericks versus Blazers one, but that wasn't nearly as interesting. It was just Luka Doncic going crazy. You know, he dropped a 40-point triple double. He surpassed Dirk. And that's all about what had to be said for the game. Apart from that, Scoot Henderson has been much better. And I do respect Scoot a lot due to the fact that he has taken the leap, which people criticize that he didn't have. So I like Scoot. He obviously hasn't still gotten used to the NBA, but he has taken that, like, rookie leap of, like, okay, the first few games are going to be the toughest, just figuring it out. But through his last few games, he has figured out the way to play the game correctly. But apart from this, I want to say, like, yo, um, Jesus Christ, these three games were exciting. I wanted to talk about, obviously, the games, you know, and, like, for example, I was watching that Miami game, and I tuned in the fourth quarter because I saw that it was close and Miami's my team and everything. And I just saw Miami and Chicago both go back and forth. DeRozan free throws, DeRozan free throws, DeRozan layup. You know, my Jaime Jaquez dunks. You know, Jimmy Butler putback. And I saw all of those plays. And then in the end, came down. The game was tied 116 to 116. Bro, Jimmy Butler went and hit a step back mid ranger for the win, icing the game, and in my opinion, that was amazing. Obviously, as a Heat fan, I was going for my team, so I'm not gonna tell you that it wasn't also amazing because of that. But the fact that in the middle of the season, Jimmy Butler did that, and they did it in such a close game and against his former team, I do really like that. That goes to my point about Miami the other day that I made about Miami being good. I do want to say that that win did feel refreshing as we lost to Chicago by like 10 points. And honestly, I just want to say shout out to Jimmy because he really did that. And also shout out to DeRozan and Kobe White because they were hitting everything in that fourth quarter. We got to give a respect. Secondly, I wanted to talk about, this Nets and Warriors game. Cam Thomas just did Cam Thomas things. He's been recently, like evening out in terms of his production. Because Cam Thomas originally, whenever he got the chance, he would score 30 because obviously he was out to kill. But now that he's been more integrated into the starting lineup and that he's one of the players which is always there for the Nets and who is considered one of the main pieces for the Nets, now he's been officially solidified, which means that he can go and play better team basketball for the sake of winning. In this game, Cam Thomas dropped 40, and he was amazing, right? It felt like he was doing everything, and it felt like he was making it any way possible, that his team needed it for him to win. He shot 62% from the field, and he shot 38% from three, just having an absolute monster performance. And on a loss, the loss was because this game was close. And when it got down to the wire, they were trading shots back and forth, right? It was like Brooklyn, then the Warriors, Brooklyn, then the Warriors. But it was at a point in the fourth quarter where they subbed in Steph and Curry. They subbed him in, and then that's when the game changed. Steph Curry scored, I think it was 12 or 14 straight points in this game to ice the game completely. The most surprising thing about this performance is that he did it with a limited amount of shots. He did not miss in this period. He came into the fourth, and I think he had 20 points for the game, or it was like, I think he had either 20, right, or he scored something like 22. And then he got all the way up to 37 points just off of straight clutch buckets, which was one of the best performances that I've seen in a while. It felt like, okay, get a quick layup here, quick layup here, quick run to the basket. There was a point where he almost dunked the ball, right, because of how high he jumped just to go get that layup when he ran in transition. And then when he started hitting the threes, that's when I knew it was over, right? He hit that because Nick Claxton was guarding him. Nick Claxton sagged off him, and then he had like a 30-footer, which he just popped, and it went in the fourth quarter. Apart from this, the Nets tried to retaliate during this period, but they really couldn't. And Steph's scoring output couldn't match the Nets. And honestly, that was an amazing game from Steph. The third game I did want to talk about was this Denver and OKC game. It was amazing as Denver had the lead for most of the game, but in that fourth quarter, OKC did what OKC does, and they just went back at them. They shot after shot after shot after shot after make after make after make after make, and eventually they were able to together, get themselves to a win by a beautiful Shai Gilgeous-Alexander turnaround mid-range jump shot. Those two game winners were the highlight of my day, the Jimmy Butler one and the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander one. And what I do want to say is that both of those games, they were the clear underdogs, right? Like, even though Miami's better than Chicago, let's face it, Chicago had just beat them by like 12 points, right? And even though it was Miami at home, Miami had been going through a cold streak. And then, no one is expected to beat Denver in the West. And then OKC came and did this. It was amazing. And shout out to Chet Holmgren because he had a couple of really clutch blocks in the fourth quarter to really make his team in the best position for the win that they got. Another person who I do want to shout out is Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think he's the best rookie right now, not called Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren, because those are the two guys. I think he's amazing. He's extremely talented. He knows how to play basketball. And I think he got in his perfect situation. I think having the Heat, which are a team which, in terms of their forwards, have always been undecided. They've always had their clear big man, Bam, and their clear guards, Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero. But in terms of the forward positions, the only thing that's constant is Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy Butler in the regular season is just tame, right? So then when you go and you take this fact that he's just tame in the regular season, right? And then you mix that in with a rookie which is going 150% every single game and trying to win. Honestly, you mix it with the fact that that is an amazing dynamic. I do want to say that the Heat have found another player, and their success has been predicated on the fact that they can really find these young talents. I believe Jaime Jaquez is an amazing talent, which has the skills to be, one of the premier 3-and-D small forwards in the league. As we're looking at it right now, he has the defense, he has the skills, he has the effort, he has everything to be a great player for his team. I also want to say that for a team like the Nets, keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, I don't believe that the Nets will do anything this year, but with the foundation that you have laid out, you have your guard, you have your big man, and you have your wing. I believe that what you need is a real like general or a real player who could really put it in to the basket in an efficient way. The Nets are set with that, but I believe that if they would get someone like a good point guard who could honestly, make it work for them, I do believe that they could honestly be one of the best teams in the league. They have the foundation. They have the secondary and third star. In my opinion, all that they need is just that little bump of that superstar, which would come in and make them whole. But I also do want to say that, we do need to give their guys time, like Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges. But what I will say with Cam Thomas is if you want to be the star, You either need to be amazing, so amazing at what you do that it can, make up for everything else, or, so good at, um, or so good at defense and offense that it makes everything better and everyone else better.